Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media. Today is a Sunday. We just want to do a recap of the headlines, maybe news that have been making headlines. I know we have several of them, but we've decided to pick few that we think we can speak about with my brother Kevin Obura. We're just going to have a conversation over them. Before we go on to the issues that are making headlines, may I take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Kevin and maybe say a word of one or two?
Okay, thank you. My name is Kevin Abura. I'm happy to be hosted this morning and to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kevin Obura. We just want to have a conversation about the national dialogue. There are some development that we've seen, especially out of the talks, and we just want to have a conversation of them and maybe to hear your views, and maybe you are on the ground also. You've also maybe listened to what other Kenyans or what other Kenyans are saying in the social media. What is your take based on the outcome uh, on the national dialogue? Especially, we might start with the creation of leader of opposition office and the prime cabinet secretary.
Okay, thank you so much about the bipartisan talks. I think they're doing a good job. But the only problem that I still have is I don't really believe they're doing what is representing the people's view in the right manner because if we look into the issues, the most important issues they were supposed to talk about was the cost of living, of which it's just increasing every day. The other day they increased the cost of fuel, and to me, there's some lack of truth in it still. And so far, I saw they agreed that they will have to look into the post of the position together with the CS and the gender rule, which that's a good move. The post for the opposition leader should be anchored in the constitution because the opposition leader has a lot of work. Most of times, the in Kenya, the opposition leader has been having almost the whole country. So it's good for someone holding that position to be recognized in the constitution and to be at least funded. Uh, the post of the prime CS,
Mhm.
it is also not bad uh, because this is an issue which had been talked about before. You remember in the BBI proposed the same thing, and I've always said that this bipartisan thing is it's just approval of the BBI because everything which was discussed in the BBI is in this bipartisan. So
Mm.
it's a good move, yeah.
Okay, you talked of the leader of opposition office, and if you look at right now the kind of system we have the majority leader and minority leader. Yeah, as it stands right now, the minority leader act as the opposition leader. Yeah, and
Yes.
to me, what I think, I might be wrong in my thinking, because he acts as the mm, the opposition leader. So which means he's representing the larger votes that were gotten from the opposition leader or the second runners up, you know. So when we bring the leader of opposition, from what we are getting here, They are not telling us what is going to happen to the minority leader. So if they are going to create that office and funded by the government, what about the office of the minority leader that is also funded by the government? And for your information, the minority leader usually has a government car. You know, where is that office? Is Are we going to abolish the office of the minority leader, then make it an opposition leader, or what is going to happen?
Uh, okay, in my thinking, uh, I think that the leader of opposition should be more powerful than than the leader of minority,
Mm,
because generally when you look into Kenyan politics,
mhm,
the opposition leader has been almost getting half of the votes.
mhm,
And such a person, to my view, this is a person who should be respected. This is
mm,
someone who has power.
mm,
This is someone who should be given an office to control his supporters.
mhm,
Uh, because if we, for example, most times if you look into 2013 election, 2017, the opposition almost had half of the parliament.
mhm,
And this is a person who this kind of opposition leaders, they should be given more power than those of the minority leader, because they should be given even more power than the prime CS.
mhm,
So as per now, we say that the leader of the minority is like the opposition leader, of
mhm,
which to me, I feel it's not fair,
mhm,
because the leader of minority gets instruction from the party leaders, and so it's not really good for someone who gets instructions from the bosses to look or to be seen as the opposition leader. It kind of limits the power of the position.
Okay, let me bring for you a scenario. When you look at our the kind of constitution we have, I think is pure presidential system.
Yeah,
When you look at pure presidential system, is a system that likely, if you say it is borrowed from United States, but
yeah.
they are similar. You know, it, when you take when Hillary Clinton and then former President Donald Trump, they contested for the presidency, and what happened? Trump ended winning, but he won with we have like what we call the electoral college votes. That's what gives you the presidency. But Hillary had the majority. But the way she had the majority, and the election ended, and that's how like she left the political scene. You know. And the reason why I think so is because the Constitution has made it so. So why is it that now when we come to Kenya system that has borrowed the same? Yeah. Why then should we have the opposition leader together with the minority? So why?
Um, Most of time,
Mm,
for example, if we are talking about the Kenyan politics,
hmm.
um, let's say Raila is now the opposition leader.
Yes.
I think the truth of the matter is, uh, going by the last general election,
Hmm.
Ruto somehow defeated him with around 200,000 votes.
Hmm.
So 200,000 votes for a presidential election, that's not, that 200 is not too many, especially when it comes to presidential election.
Hmm.
At least a president should have maybe 1 million plus
Hmm.
difference. So this is someone who, by any chance, would be the president, and for someone to check the government or to counter check the government,
Mhm,
they should be given some power so that they can influence. You
mhm,
see, when you look into the last government, like the Grand Coalition government,
mhm,
when Kibaki and Raila were, Kibaki was the president, Raila was the prime minister. Kenyans, and it is also true that that was the best performing government ever. Because you see, when Kibaki was the president and Raila was the prime minister, he counter-checked the government the right way, and he had the power because he felt, it motivates even the people in that office to
mhm,
give the best because they know that their work is to check the government. They have the resources to use to check the government. You see, most of times, whenever there were scandals, the opposition
mhm,
led the team of the prime minister, they would simply come out and tell the people. And so the people in government or in the presidency side, they were sure and they knew that this is an active opposition leader. And so messing up with the economy and everything, it was tough for them. So my thinking is that if the opposition leader is given more power
mhm,
and resources are there, whereby they can influence
mhm,
and can get the right information in the government. The
mhm,
government is do the right thing. So the leader of opposition should be given more power than the leader of a minority. That is my
oh,
thinking. You
okay.
wouldn't require
And,
an opposition leader to, uh, like in this case,
mhm,
currently,
mhm,
if, for example, the opposition leader would be, in this scenario, Raila would be the minority leader, maybe in the parliament.
mhm,
You see, there would be some lack of respect or thinking in that manner because they wouldn't really see him as the opposition leader.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you about the two offices. Now let's come about the two-third gender rule. It it also as one of the issues that they agreed upon. But if you can remember, there was a time even in the last parliament. I mean, during former president administration, there was a time when the court, I don't know, gave an order about parliament being dissolved because they did not the parliamentarians or the members of parliament did not vote to it was affirmative action, right?
Yeah.
So I'm asking myself if that in the parliament is where the opportunity is where they can vote. Now this has been brought into the national dialogue team. How are they still going to vote for it, or how are they going? How is it going to be passed?
The issue of two-third gender rule, it has been a problem in Kenya, and
Mhm.
it's unfortunate that Kenya has never really actualized uh, whatever is really in the constitution, because the constitution is very clear about the two-third gender rule, and if we look even in this current government, the two-third gender rule, it's not really, they have not achieved it,
Yes.
even in this government. So it could be, for something to be achieved, of course, the people must also decide. The constitution is clear, it should be there, but I don't know whether it's because so many ladies or women are not offering themselves to for these political seats. They could be getting into political environment, but the choices are made by the people.
Yes.
So still, it's going to be tough,
Mhm.
and even if the court looks into it again, they will still say that. the parliament should be dissolved.
So,
And
so it is an issue of leadership. It's not something that more of a crisis. It is something that maybe the leaders have just decided not to do it. Or what is happening?
I wouldn't really say they have decided to do it
Hmm.
because somehow the people have the power,
Hmm.
and if so many women are not elected, I don't really. It's not the problem of the leaders. It is the reality in the ground.
Oh, okay.
The only thing they should do is they should try to give, educate the, the females and to encourage them and to give them all the platforms so
Mm.
that they can also have the same uh, environment, or they can also have the same benefits that most men
Mhm.
have, so that they can also get into these political seats to ensure that the third gender rule is ensured.
Okay. I think the last, I think this is the second last. We have also, they also agreed on members of IBC to increase from current 7 to 9. And to connect it with that, there's also something here from Standard that say Raila's big win. Today's Standard, the 14th, yeah. And they've talked of political. There's um, of overhauling the commission selection panel, then expansion of IBC to 7, then involvement of political parties in picking of IEBC officials. I especially I want you to talk about this. When you look at our country, how many political parties do we have?
It's the registered. We have around 100 and something registered political parties in Kenya.
So how will these 100 political parties participate in picking the commissioners?
Mm, it's it's just on paper that okay, they will try to involve the political parties, but the truth of the matter is the most strong political party would participate.
What about if the smallest political party go to court? Because that is a possibility. You know how Kenya is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
and that's the good thing with Kenya. Kenyans, most of them, they really respect the constitution, and they will always try to challenge anything that is against the constitution. Uh, I think what they'll do, they'll try to bring on board all the political parties, and then they will they will participate in a way.
Hmm.
They'll give their views, but when it comes to the selection, I think that the most powerful parties will do the final thing. Yeah.
Maybe because like when you go to social media, these are some of the things that the Kenyans are asking,
Yeah.
and we also just trying to to discuss or to have a conversation on what the general public are trying to know about this. But I hope with the time they will come out and explain to us. There's also like let me just maybe if I can read for you the way the Standard put it. Raila's biggest win. Overhaul of the Electoral Commission selection panel, expansion of IBC selection team from 7 at the current 7 to 9 members, involvement of political parties in picking of IBC commissioners, audit of the last year's presidential election, political party fidelity, interference in the running of a political party by the executive. That's what is on the Raila side.
Yeah.
So when you come to the president side, we have entrenchment of the office of the prime cabinet secretary, establishment of office of the leader of official opposition, entrenchment of the national government Constituency Development Fund, Senate to Oversight Fund, and Affirmative Action Fund. So, and when you come to after reading all this, what has been agreed, all of that I know everybody has been, there's one thing that is very critical, that if you go to the ground and talk to people, that people talk about the cost of living. None of the sides have really touched on the cost of living. So what does this one tell you?
That's why when you were starting, I said that this bipartisan thing or talks, there is a point to which I don't agree with the members and their thinking, because it's so unfair, because this should be a people centered discussion.
Hmm.
And the most reason why it was all this idea came, it was because the people were hurting, the cost of living was too high, the level of taxation has been increased. And looking into this, there's nothing which has been addressed. And remember, the last time we had a conversation, I remember I said that there's lack of truthfulness or transparency in this bipartisan thing, because the things which really matter to the people are not really dealt or discussed. And it was from the first time they started the discussions or the meetings, it was clear that they were only concerned about about the IEBC, about the post for the big boys. They were concerned about the political class. They were not really concerned about the people. It's so unfortunate, because the most important thing that they should have discussed was the cost of living, because so many Kenyans cannot really afford to live as their wish. And it's unfortunate that even as the talks are going on, like, this is not the second time they increased the cost of fuel, and fuel is everything.
Everything,
The,
yes.
the other day they also increased it. So it's so unfortunate that the most important thing they were supposed to talk about, they're not talking about. The cost of living is getting higher every day.
Um, um, uh, I had a discussion with one of my friends, and he was telling me that Kenya, we have only two tribes. Uh, we have the have and the have-nots. And when such like political negotiation are taking place, the have-nots usually do not have their say.
Yeah,
They don't even get no reward. So let's hopefully that something will work. Let's leave get up from the national dialogue team. And just to mention, if you look at there's a report that the budget or the allowances that is being used on the national dialogue team is almost like Kenya shillings 106 million.
it's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
And these are the people who are telling us that they are talking about issues
Yeah.
concerning the people of Kenya.
Uh-huh.
They have really shown that
Yeah.
Kenyans are on their own. There's no one to talk on behalf of Kenyans. There's no one to talk on behalf of Mama Mbogas.
Mhm.
On behalf of watu wa Mkokoteni.
Yeah.
No one to really talk issues concerning the Mwananchi.
Mhm.
And I'm telling Kenyans that they have to wake up and
Mhm.
fight for themselves,
Mhm.
because uh, it's our we have to make the decision
Mhm.
to stand for ourselves, to
Mhm.
speak up, and to say no to anything that is trying to lower the dignity of the people of Kenya.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much. We are going to go to another news that might be was in the headline for the longest time, and we are going to Mount Kenya Nation, the Central Kenya, and where Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua announced plans to reconcile with the former president, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, His Excellency Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. And I think you know what has been happening or what has happened between the deputy and the president. The attack that the deputy president has on the former president from the first day at Kasarani, you know, and now he's saying they want to reconcile to unite Mount Kenya. So I don't know what is happening. What is your thought on that?
The the deputy president has been having issues of late.
Hmm.
And the other day, when the president was signing into law this, is it the bill? This bill where they were trying to stop the National Assembly from having a say on whether to privatize this. Um,
The
this
companies, the sugar companies.
yes,
Mm,
the deputy president was present, and mostly when the signing is taking place, mostly the speaker and the attorney general and the leader of the majority, they should be present, and that the people who are really doing much of the work.
mhm.
So the deputy was standing beside them, and he was like, from his looks and his behavior,
You know how our Kenya brothers are, especially when it comes to things like that. They know how to create the memes and all manner of, put comedy in it.
yeah, they were trying to kind of reflect, to send out or to say to the people the real thing that the deputy president was going through. And
Mhm,
it was seen as if he was a lonely man and a very stressed man.
mhm.
So he has been having issues, but I think the problems he has been having of late, it's because of his loose mouth, I would say so.
Mhm,
He calls himself the truthful man.
mhm,
There's an extent to which his truths are hurting the people of Kenya, are
mhm,
hurting the people who want Kenya. And
mhm,
so most people do not really like his truth as much as he believes that he's being a truthful man. So
mhm.
the problems he has been having first is he ran in a platform where hurling insults to the former president was the order of the day.
Yes.
And again, when they were campaigning, they overpromised the people, especially the people of Mount Kenya.
Mhm,
And so now that they're in the government, they can't really actualize the promises that they made to the people of Mount Kenya and to the people of Kenya. They have seen that talking from the outside is easy than doing it when you're inside.
mhm,
That is the problem that these guys are having, because they thought that when you get into the office of president or presidency or deputy president,
mhm,
you'll have all the money and you'll do anything you want to do. We are so blessed that we have a constitution that is very clear. You can't just wake up and do your own things. So they have found it's a different thing in the office, and the constitution is fixing them in a way that they can't just decide on what to do. So the things they promise the people, they can't really do it because the constitution is clear. You have to do it in this manner.
yeah.
They go with a different mentality, and the people are really angry because the cost of living is too high. They ran in a platform where they were saying watarudisha kila kitu chini, and it's unfortunate they're doing the opposite. So the people have started resisting. So in a way, he's not comfortable with the resistance of the people.
But
And
I was listening to former Bahati MP. It's called Kimani who? Kimani, is it Kimani Bahati, former
for
Bahati MP in Nakuru. whereby he was saying they participated in they were in a meeting during the time like when the deputy, yeah.
In the selection of the deputy president.
Yes,
They were,
but right now, him and Ndindi Nyoro, the deputy does not want even to see them. So, which means there's something that is happening in Mount Kenya that um, something big that requires. But do you think the former head of state will agree to talk to Rigathi based on the insults?
I have been following keenly the closest allies of the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta,
Mhm,
and I see this. I saw this interview where uh, Honorable Muradhi, that's the Secretary General
mhm,
Jubilee,
mhm,
he was very clear that the president has nothing to talk
mhm,
about with the deputy because the deputy started all the insults.
mhm.
And Murade was also clear that it's the deputy who should simply go and apologize to the president after all the messes. And again, I also saw the uh, Mr. Kihoni.
Jeremiah.
Yes, Mr. Jeremiah Honorable Kihoni. It was
Mhm,
also very clear that Uhuru wants nothing to discuss with the deputy president because the deputy president, according to him, had a loose mouth, and therefore the president would not really entertain those talks. Of course, he said the president would accept, but with little uh, interest.
okay.
But of
Hopefully.
course, it's a serious political problem in Mount Kenya, and so many MPs that have started no, they have started resisting. Majority of which the Githunguri MP
Mhm,
being interviewed the other day, and I saw her. She was saying it clear that she is part of the government. She is part of the ruling government, but she was clear that the government overpromised to the people,
mhm,
and the things that they promised they were going to do for the people of Mount Kenya, they are not doing it. Instead, according to her,
mhm.
she's saying the president has simply neglected the people of Mount Kenya.
Yeah, okay.
That's a political
Yeah,
problem.
I know
And
there's so many things are going on in Mount Kenya. The other day, I saw how Maina Njenga pulled a massive crowd with Kanini Kega being heckled, and so many things are happening. Now, let's come to Luo Nation. The head of state had we call the the project tour, whereby development tour for the Luo Nation, and something that was very funny to me, or something that I saw, was like all the leaders, especially the governors in their respective counties, they were there with the president. Does it mean that prior, before the head of state visit, there was a meeting that was held and they were given direction, or what?
I think Ruto is a smart politician.
Mm-hmm,
And if I'm asked, I would say Ruto really benefited in terms of politics. Politically, he made a milestone. He got it right.
mm-hmm,
And the benefits that the people of Nyanza really got, I don't see the president did much to the people of Nyanza because uh, the things that he went to launch, for example, the Uhuru
two.
MV2, that is something which was commissioned and already it's something that the money had been given. He was just going to launch of which there's no that wasn't really a project that he would have gone to launch. That would have been left for the governor. I think he was smart in a way.
Mhm.
He's being viewed currently by so many of, especially MPs who are not from Nyanza, that he went and gave out some goodies to the people of Nyanza. But the truth of the matter is, there is no much that he did. And the things that he was launching are things which are, most of them were already there in the former government. And it's unfortunate that most of the projects that were also there, they took the money and diverted to do some other things like the Korusoin dams and the rest. So politically it was brilliant, but in terms of projects, the people of didn't
Mm.
really give the right projects for the people.
But if you look at the body language of governors, especially I saw His Excellency James Orengo speech, Gladys Wang, Ochila Yako, and even the Kisumu counterpart. When you look at their body language, what was their body language? Were they happy with what is happening, or it was just a pleasing, just to please the president?
They were kind of very welcoming to
Hmm.
say, and it could be that they received some calls from uh, the boss that they should meet the president.
Uh,
And I think they were just actualizing what they were told to do.
uh,
There could be something behind the scene because it's
yeah,
so unfortunate. This I have this feeling where, with the stance that they took before,
yeah.
of politics change every day,
Uh,
but the kind of welcoming that they gave sense there could be something behind the scene.
and even like on the streets, some were saying that even most of the leaders from the Luo nation who are working with government, their effect was not felt.
Of course, actually, they were most of them were good. Most
Yeah.
of them. That's why I was saying Ruto is a smart politician. He knows how to make his way. I'm quite sure he had a talk with the opposition leader,
Uh-huh.
and he knew that the ground. Once you have a conversation with Baba, then things
Mhm.
will be good back home.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't really need this MPs, low MPs, to help him in any way.
Mhm. And
Prepared the just
uh,
walk out.
and there were some talks in the street, like there was a hidden handshake between the Right Honorable Prime Minister and the President. Those are talks in the streets.
Yeah, people are saying such kind of things, and some are saying that the the opposition, the people in the opposition, uh, political party, that they're just trying to respect the talk, so they're trying to work smartly because there's something that they want. They they're trying to act smart in a way so that they are pleased
Uh,
in
oh,
the part
okay.
we met. And saying that, it could
Uh,
be true because if we try to analyze the bipartisan talks
yeah.
and the most important views that Azimio wanted to be looked into, we can
Mhm.
say that they have really gotten a good deal
Yeah. But
because
it's a good deal for them, but not good deal for Kenyans.
that's the truth. That is the most unfortunate part bit of it.
Mm.
Uh, that the politicians they're only after their stomachs. They don't care about the stomach of the normal mananchi.
Mhm. Okay, I know the issue of Luo nation politics will always be there. So maybe before we
Mm,
wind up, we have this incident that happened recently in Turkana about chaos when the Right Honorable Prime Minister was denied the chance to address the locals at the event. What do you think?
Uh, I think before this, there could be something known by by the leadership of Turkana,
Hmm.
because I've been trying to follow the politics of Turkana and the governor of Turkana. Most of the time, is an ODM governor.
Yes.
Ever since the people of Azimio started this Mandamano thing, he
Hmm.
was against it. And I remember he even counter, like when the Mandamanos were going on,
Hmm.
he would start his own projects during those days and he would try to counter the Mandamano.
Hmm.
He's trying to say that him is clear, he just wants development, and it could be that they have some few MPs who are also in the supporting him
Hmm.
and been seeing their comments and their view have been clear that them they just want development, they don't want any distractors,
Hmm.
and there could be something known.
Um, yeah, to me, what I might not look it into a political way, but I want to give a view in terms of leadership, because if this was a cultural event, and Kenyan is a multi-ethnic society, or a multi-ethnic country whereby with diverse cultural, and now you are celebrating your culture. This is the time that other leaders from other areas with diverse culture would come and kind of like be part of enjoying and see how we are blessed in terms of cultural beliefs, and how, you know so I think like it was not supposed to be that way. That is not how leadership should work. You might have political differences, but when it comes things like culture, so what if one day, you never know, you are called to one of the Azimio leaders, they are called to attend one of their cultures, and the same fate befell you. How will you feel?
It was the most unfortunate. It wasn't really the right picture as a Kenyan,
Mhm,
and I don't really support that. It was the most primitive way of addressing issues. If
mhm,
suppose we had issues, when it comes to cultural things, especially Kenyans are naturally welcoming people. They
mhm,
respect other people's culture, and that was the most unfortunate. The person who maybe started the whole resistance, I think that's a very mature person
mhm,
because that wasn't really called for. If Raila had gone to maybe see the cultural thing that was happening there, and is a leader, is the leader of opposition, is a national figure. It
mhm,
was fortunate that a group of members of parliament, MCAs, in front of him, they were being disrespectful. We have to respect our senior most leaders and
mhm.
trying to lecture. Of course, there could be issues. It's
Yeah.
so wrong
Mhm,
for MCAs or the members of parliament to stand in front of someone of the status of Raila to start lecturing him like a small kid. And like you, most of these leaders were in Azimio. They
mhm,
needed this. And it could be they were given some instruction because from their lecturing,
mhm.
you see they were given good instructions and they were
and
just
and
trying.
and and even if you listen to their speeches were more or less the same. They were speaking from the same script.
They
It was
had
kind
this
of like
thought,
scripted.
yeah, and that really tells you that they were up to something. Most of them I've seen uh, some leaders of Turkana were against it, and the people of Kenya has really condemned it. That wasn't the right platform. to address the issues that they thought or
mm,
they felt were not right.
mm.
That was a cultural thing and we are being told as Kenyans that when things to do with culture, we should always be welcoming, we should always be there to welcome the people who are trying to get to understand our culture. And it was so unfortunate because the president was also there the day
There.
before,
Uh-huh.
and that also tells you something that
And actually, in the presser that the prime minister gave after the incident, he blamed the president on it. He said he blamed president for it. But sometimes I'm looking as a leader in your right senses, yeah, and as a leader you're leading people, and this is a cultural, it's not a political, you know why then would you do that? Even if you want to please your mother, at the end of the day, what will you gain at the end of the day?
that's now the problem we have with the electorate, the people of Kenya. The people that we elect are people can easily be swayed. These are people who can easily be bought. They don't have their own stand, and for that matter, they are representing whatever instruction they are given. So long as they are given something, or so long as I don't know, it is so
Okay.
wrong for a leader to try to disrespect other leaders and to try to tell people not to. You know, Kenya, we have a right to go every. The constitution is very clear. We have a
Mm.
right to associate. We have a right to go anywhere we want. It was so unfortunate that a whole opposition leader is being told you can't talk to the people here. You have to leave and go back to Nairobi. That is
Okay.
so.
Time will tell, and we are in our country. One time you're a leader, you will reach the status of Raila, and it will happen to you. And so I think sometimes we need to uh, be good leaders.
Yeah,
You
on that,
Yeah,
uh, as the president, he would have come out as the
and
president.
condemn the issue.
Yeah, because as a leader, that really tells you that there's something behind the scene that we are not really aware.
Mm.
Why in this era, it's so unfortunate, and those leaders they should just apologize to the people of Kenya because we don't really want to go to that direction as a people.
Okay, thank you so much, and I hope next time we will also have a time to have recap on the headlines of the week, and maybe you can give your comment on the split in UDA, whereby a section of party members feel like SG Malala is an opposition mole and is incompetent.
I don't really think he's an opposition model
Hmm.
because the problem with Malala is very simple.
Hmm.
Malala is suffering from what Orengo used to call, Orengo used to say that when you're in power, you
Mm.
try to get where you came from, and you
Mm.
try like power pollutes the mind.
The mind.
That is what Malala is suffering from. Remember,
Hmm.
Malala is attending cabinet
Hmm.
and is not a CS.
Hmm.
He has vehicles with
Security
yeah, as a cabinet.
as a
That
cabinet.
Malala thinks that he has power, and for that reason is trying to show to the people that he has power,
Uh,
trying to show the people. So the too much power that is been given, he can't control. So he's trying
mm.
to make people see that he's the man.
Is the man of the match, or man of the hour.
He's really
Oh,
trying to please the president, and
mm.
do it. We should expect much, but
Mhm.
the truth of the matter is, he's in a mission. He wants to finish these other political parties within the Kenya Kwanza.
The
That was
Fort
the
Kenya, the Amani.
Yeah, that is the instruction that he's been given,
Mm.
and he's trying to do it. He doesn't like. He's trying to use the best way available,
Mhm.
whether it means not showing respect to his
The
former party leader, his party.
Mhm.
He's in a mission. He's going to do it. Yeah. So there are going to be cracks. We should expect more.
Mhm.
The the people in Fort Kenya and ANC, they're not really okay with that. Even the people in UDA from the Western, the
Mhm.
likes uh, Baraza,
Baraza, yes.
the senator of Kakamega, Boni Halwale,
Yeah.
he has been very categorical and
I think
very,
at some point, Gladys Sholei also complained of the same. At some point, if I might be wrong.
yeah, but you see, most of these decisions are coming from the members of parliament from Western.
Mhm.
And you see, somebody like the senator of Kakamega, he's in the UDA.
Mhm.
Somebody like Didmas
Baraza.
Barak is in the UDA, right?
Mhm.
And if these are the people who are saying, no, you have to respect uh, the ANC, you have to respect the Ford Kenya, then it tells you something that Malala is just overdoing it and is doing it the wrong way.
Mhm.
And you should look and seek advice from the Secretary General of ODM, Mr. Edwin
Edwin
Sifuna.
Sifuna.
Edwin Sifuna is actually, he has raised the bar and is a good, is performing well as a Secretary General, and that
Yes.
is most of
Yes.
these Secretary Generals should also do.
Okay.
Yeah.
My brother, thank you so much for coming this Sunday morning to have a recap of what happened during the week and to discuss about the headline. So hopefully next week, if we find time, we will do the same. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful, and tuna imani ya kwamba the people of Kenya will one day get the right thing at the right time.
Okay, thank you so much. That is the hope. We are nursing that hope. Thank you so much. And I know we will meet here next week if we find time.
Okay, fine. Thank you.